gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, it's time!
What is going on? Welcome to another episode of Circle of Debate, MMA episode number 28, I believe, covering UFC 285. I'm here with Cage IQ and one half of the Mars brothers. The other half will be here shortly. We're going to break down this five-fight main card that features two title fights on the line in the co-main and main event. I'm excited to talk about them. You guys excited for this card?
Yeah, man, definitely so. I'll bring up the poster right here, the two title fights that you're talking about. We got Jones versus GANE for the vacant heavyweight title, and then we got SHEVCHENKO versus Grasso in the co-main event.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love fights. Title fights are great. Two title fights, twice as good. We've even in the past had three title fights on a card, but I don't think that they're ever going to do that again. But two, I'll take two. And we're going to start right off with the first fight on the main card, Bo Nickal versus Jamie Pickett. Who wants to take it first? How about Alex?
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nickal's obviously there's a lot of hype to him. Obviously coming off the Contender Series. I think like today he announced that he has big plans to fight in the future CIRYL, Vegas. Yeah, big stadium, thousands of people. That's his future goals. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not, but we'll see. I mean, first you take step by step. But Jamie Pickett's a very tough opponent for him. It's a good test for him. I know a lot of people are not happy with him being the first fight in the main card. I know there's a lot of fighters that were complaining about that he didn't deserve to be in the main card, but this is an opportunity to prove what he's got in this one, and with a lot of big audience, especially people are gonna, it's John Jones, big show of the year. So there's gonna be a lot of eyeballs on this one. So I think it's a good fight for him. I think he gets it done. I want to say, I think he's gonna win by decision. I think it's gonna be all three rounds. I think Bo gets it done by decision.
Cool. Cage, what you got going on in this fight, which is at middleweight? Let's be clear.
Yes. First, you got Jamie Pickett. He likes to use a lot of his leg kicks. He really doesn't throw that many strikes with his hands, and then he likes to clinch up along the cage, and he does a lot there. But he's more like a counter passive guy. He doesn't explode a lot, and if he wins, it's going to be by a decision half the time. And then, of course, you got the hype with Bo Nickal coming out of Penn State with the wrestling background. He's added a lot of jiu-jitsu to it. He's a guy that in his three fights, he's 3-0. He hasn't broken out of the first minute of any fight. He averages 1 minute of fight time. It's just a lot of getting into the clinch with his wrestling, getting the back, and kind of just choking his opponents out. And then when they're worried about him shooting in, sometimes he fakes and then he throws overhand strikes, and he has a little bit of power to him. We just lost him. He'll be back though. But I got Bo Nickal by first round sub here. I just think that the threat of the takedown is going to kind of make Jamie Pickett too passive. He's going to wait to shoot or to throw, and he's going to allow Bo Nickal to be the aggressor in the fight. And you can't let Bo Nickal be the aggressor in the fight. You got to throw first and make him react to him. But with how Jamie Pickett is, that's not going to happen. So I got Bo Nickal by first round sub.
Cool. I love that you said that because that's exactly my pick. Jamie Pickett has obviously the experience. Bo Nickal in 3 fights. We swapped one brother out for the other. And there he is right there. Bo Nickal in 3 fights has less than 3 minutes of fight time. But I'm still going to go with Bo by sub in the first round. Jamie's on a 2-fight losing streak, both being finished. I think the confidence level is with Bo, and I'm picking Bo by first round sub. no
And
idea what sub.
And if you look at it, Jamie Pickett has been subbed by Kyle Dawkins. I know there's MMA math, but
Yeah. It was a
like,
Bravo choke too, which is not an easy choke to get. So
yeah, so
still a
I feel
loss
like
on
if he can do it, then Bo Nickel should be easily able to. I know he hasn't fought as many fights as Dawkins, but if you add in over 100 wrestling matches that he's had, he does have grappling experience. So I think that means at least something for these UFC fights that he's going into.
Right. Cool. So who didn't talk about this fight yet?
It's on Richard.
I haven't
Richard.
talked yet.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nickel, looks like so far he's a real deal. Real deal. He has a pedigree. He has that wrestling background. I'm sure you guys mentioned it. 3-time Division I champion. He was an Olympic trials finalist. So, I mean, he's a real deal, especially in the wrestling world. He's very well respected. Jamie Pickett, like Chris mentioned, he's kind of on his way out with 2 losses in a row. His back is against the wall, so hopefully he uses, this guy's a pure martial artist, so he has that mentality, and he's already been there in the spotlight. So hopefully that gives him the edge over Bull. But I mean, we've seen it. I mean, he's a wrestler. He takes you down. Out of his 3 wins, he has 2 wins by sub. So I'm gonna pretty much agree with Chris as well. I see Bo Nickel winning submission within the first round.
Cool. Let's go on to the lightweight fight of the night: MATEUSZ GAMROT versus JALIN Turner. Alex, you went first last time, so take this one.
GAMROT. I mean, I think even though he lost the last fight, I think he fought Darush last fight. I thought he looked really good. It was a very, very to me, it was a very competitive fight. Especially before he had wins over Jeremy Stevens. Looked good on that, and Holtzman, I believe. So he was racking up some good wins. Even with the loss, I think he's still with this win. I think if he beats Turner, he's right back where he was before. I think GAMROT has a lot of potential to be future lightweight champion. But Turner's tough. I like Turner. I think he's very well rounded. I think he's really good in the ground game and also good decent striking. But I'm gonna go with GAMROT on this one. I just think, overall, better. Pretty much everywhere the fight goes, either it's in the ground or stand up. So I'm gonna go with GAMROT in this one. And I was gonna say, was he supposed GAMROT? This wasn't his original opponent, right? This was a change, right?
Yeah, it was Turner and Dan. It was Turner versus Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker broke his hand, so MATEUSZ GAMROT took this on 2 weeks' notice.
Dang. Oh. Yeah, I mean, again, it's the big difference between Hooker and GAMROT. But I'm gonna go with GAMROT on this one. I think he gets it done. I'm gonna go with decision on GAMROT.
Cool. Cage.
This fight is one of my favorites for the card. I'm thinking this might be fight of the night. One of the odds to be that, because you got MATEUSZ GAMROT. He has that motor, very good cardio. He has that grappling background. He likes to shoot a lot for takedowns. And then he has that sneaky boxing background that he uses when he's looking to go into clinch. Sometimes he pops up instead of going for the takedown, and then he throws some combinations at you. But then you got JALIN Turner. He's very tall for the lightweight division. He has that 6-inch reach in this fight. He was more like just a boxing, one-dimensional fighter going into welterweight. Of course, he lost to Vicente Luque, decided to drop that back down to lightweight. He lost to Matt Frivola. But then since then, he has added the jiu-jitsu training with the Gracies, and he's kind of showcased that, getting 2 subs in the last 3 fights. And I think this is going to be a problem for GAMROT, because I think Dariush exposed a little bit of GAMROT's takedowns attempts from far away. He kind of telegraphs himself. He goes down and then shoots from far away. And he got kneed a couple times in the last fight, and then got uppercutted, and he got stunned. And I think if he tries to do that with Turner, Turner would look to lock in one of those guillotine chokes. And he'll be able to, as long as he can stop the takedowns, I think Turner should win this one. I got him by second round KO.
Cool. Richard?
This one I'm very excited for. I really love this fight. Just even right now, looking at their previous opponents and just kind of breaking it down statistically. Turner, he never went by decision. 13 wins are all by either by knockout or submission. The guy's a knockout artist. 9 out of 13 are by knockout. And I like this too because GAMROT's never been knocked out. The man has 2 losses, and they've both been by decision. So we're going to see. I mean, Turner looks like he has the heavy hands. Hope he's going to try to go for a knockout. And also, if you look at Turner's last 5 fights, he's in the win streak. None of them, like I said, none of them have been decision. Submission, TKO, submission, rear naked choke. The man's dangerous. He's looking to finish, and he's looking to make a name off of GAMROT. Like IQ said, GAMROT was a little exposed. I'm sure he's going to go for the rest of his wrestling and, coming close, but it might be dangerous because Turner has his heavy hands. But I'm gonna go for Turner. I think he's, with the level of GAMROT is, I think he's gonna go the decision. Yeah, I'm gonna go decision with Turner. It's gonna be a close fight, but yeah, Turner by decision.
Cool. I think that GAMROT is a lot, not more clever, but smart enough not to play into the strength of JALIN, who is definitely a wild man in there, which led to his almost all finish streak that he's on right now. They're all finishes right now. So I think GAMROT's smart enough to take the wheels out from under him and prevent a lot of big time strikes from landing and grind out a decision. So I'm picking GAMROT by decision for that one. What's up, Miles? Ivan? We're killing it. It's already been dead. It's gonna be like the main event, just
Miles.
over. Next fight of the night, we've got Jeff Neal versus Shavkat RAKHMONOV. Nailed it.
RAKHMONOV.
Yes, exactly. Alex, this is a welterweight fight. Cool.
Yeah, I mean this one's exciting. I think this could be the fight of the night, honestly. RAKHMONOV. Yeah. He's 16-0. 16-0. Coming off a big win over, submitting Neil Magny, who was a tough veteran. And Neil too, coming off, biggest win in his career, knocking out Luque, which was pretty cool. I mean, Neil has a lot. Neil was very strong. Stand up is really, really, really good. He, has that knockout power. But RAKHMONOV, he's good. He could beat you pretty much stand up. His ground game is really well. He's really good. I know Neil's going to be very explosive at the beginning of the fight. I think he's going to try to take the pace very, very beginning. But I think Manov's going to slow him down. I think eventually he's going to go to the ground, and I think he's going to submit him. I'm going to go RAKHMONOV second round, and I'm going to go with guillotine on this one. I think he gets in the guillotine choke.
Cool. Cage.
This is one of those matchups where you look at the odds and you're like, geez, Shavkat is so much of a favorite, minus 500. And Jeff Neal, I think, is plus 400. I think that's what it is. Yeah, plus 400. Jeff Neal comes in with that striking background. He's mainly all hands, but he's quick. He has a really good jab. He has a really good uppercut that he used in the last fight. He is the only guy ready to finish Luque the way that he did. He just kind of dominated him halfway through that fight, and never seen Luque get out punched like that. But he's very quick. He has good movement, and if he's going to win this fight, he has to be the aggressor. He has to go first because you got Shavkat. I like to compare him to Chimaev. I think they're the same style fighters. It's just that he is less vocal than Chimaev, and he doesn't use Twitter like Chimaev does. I think that's the only difference, but I think where I'm leaning towards Shavkat is the leg kicks, because I think those are going to play a big factor in this fight, with Neal only using his hands. He doesn't really throw leg kicks or anything. He just uses his hands because he was primarily a boxer. So I think he's going to have advantage doing that. He'll slow him down a little bit. He'll get into the clinch, try to push him up against the cage, pull him down, and I'm going with sub here too, but I think it's round 3. I think he gets it done. A rear naked choke round 3.
Cool. Richard.
Yeah, these matchups, I love them so much. Another guy that's 16 wins in a row, undefeated, perfect record, 50-50, with 8 knockouts and 8 submissions. This man is on a tear. NEAL, 2-fight win streak. Defeated the Vicente Luque. Luque, who at one point looked unstoppable with a little win streak of his own, but he stopped that as well. This is going to be tough, but I'm kind of rooting a little bit for NEAL, but I think SHAVKAT just right now he just looks unstoppable. And if you want to do MMA math, they both share the same opponent of Neil Magny, and SHAVKAT just went through him like a hot knife to butter by submitting Magny by guillotine, while NEAL lost about a couple years ago by decision. But anyways, I'm going to go submission second round with SHAVKAT.
Cool. Yeah, half of SHAVKAT's fights are finished by sub, half are by TKO or KO. So it's basically flip a coin on which one of these I think he's going to win by.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. Like I definitely see him winning for sure, especially because all of his wins besides one are inside of 2 rounds instead of 3. Only one went to 3 rounds 5 years ago in KZMMFA, whatever. So let me look at Jeff's losses. They're like half and half too. They're like he has 2 decisions, 1 TKO, 1 submission. So they are split. Yikes. Fuck. So this the safe bet right here is this might be SHAVKAT's first decision win. So I'm gonna go with decision win for SHAVKAT.
Which is crazy because 16 wins and all of them were by finish. He has not gone the distance at all. He just has plowed through his opponents, and then you just don't notice it because he doesn't talk shit or anything. He just walks up, makes weight.
I think Jeff feels a little bit tougher, not tougher than the opponents that have lost to SHAVKAT, but just I think he's a little bit tougher than getting finished would dictate.
He's like the triple G of MMA.
Right?
Yes.
Speaking of scary Russians, we're going to move on up to the women's flyweight. First title fight of the night, Valentina Shevchenko versus Mexico's Guadalajara, Mexico, specifically Alexa Grasso. This is a fight that is, there's not a lot of other women in that division on a 4-fight win streak, so giving it to Grasso does make sense. And we'll get into how we feel about this fight with Alex.
Grasso has always been a fighter that, there's times that she looks great, and then there's times that just, like what happened?
She lost her first fight and first fight in the UFC, the Little Bulldog, and I don't think she should have lost that fight. I have to rewatch it, but I thought her hand would have gotten raised in that one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
She's currently ranked number 6, also in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even then too, rank it up, 4 wins of, good decent opponents. Macy Barber, decision win, Joanna Wood, Viviane Royo. So, she's looking pretty good, getting some good wins. And it's crazy because Shevchenko, been dominated for such a long time, and it's the first time the last fight was the first time that she didn't look good. It was a close fight. A lot of people thought she lost. Was not her night. It was a split decision win, I believe, that she won. But I don't know. I really do believe that Grasso could pull this off. I think she can. She's gonna have to fight her fight. Just dictate the pace, use her speed. Kind of mix it up. Make it tricky for Shevchenko. I really think she could do it, and I think she is gonna do it. I think Grasso wins by. It's gonna be close. But I think she wins by decision. I think she pulls it off. I think Shevchenko right now, even though she's been saying it's a bit mentally for her or for Grasso, she knows. I think it's for her. She has to prove a point, and I don't know. We'll see how she does. Last fight she did not look good, and I think it's going to be a mental thing for her. That I think Grasso is going to take advantage of it, and I think she wins by decision.
Nice. That is an upset. I'd love to see the odds for that. Cage, what you got for this one?
Yeah, and let me just take a note that Santos was offered the fight, but she is not fighting in the U.S. At all because her coaches can't come in here. So as long as the fights that are offered are here, she's not going to take them. So don't be surprised if you don't see her for a while. But you got Shevchenko. She has a Muay Thai kickboxing background. One of the X factors with her is that she has that ballerina background. That's how she's able to fluctuate in and out of the pocket so flawlessly and fluidly is because of that background. She's able to go in and out, and then she has great cardio. She knows how to mix the combinations with the leg kicks and the punching. I kind of feel like she overthought that fight with Santos, where she took it a little bit lightly, but she still landed over 200 strikes in that matchup. So even though she got taken down a couple of times and controlled, she was still active, and that's why she got this split decision. And it got Alexa Grasso. She can clinch up, but it's going to be a different style. She's more about clinching up along the cage, throwing the elbows and knees. But her strong suit is in the pocket, thrown in the pocket. She's weak when she's outside and fighting from a distance, so she wants to try and get close. And that's why I'm going with SHEVCHENKO by decision in this matchup, because you're going to have her thrown from a distance, going in when she needs to, coming back out, not allowing Alexa Grasso to get going. And she's just going to rack up that volume game. And I think there is a chance that she could get a finish on Grasso, but I just think this is SHEVCHENKO's chance to get back to form, dominate the matchup, and I got her by decision.
Cool. Richard.
This is another exciting fight. You just never know. I just hope it's not like a stalemate like Namajunas and Esparza, because you never know anymore with some of these fights. SHEVCHENKO, like we said it multiple times every time we pick her one of these fights, he just looks unstoppable. But she looked a little human last time with a split decision. I still think that doesn't really discredit her too much with this fight. Grasso is, she's been around. Like, she's been in the UFC about 6 years now, and she's kind of teeter-tottering, like you said, Chris. I think ranked number 6. So now this is her chance to swoop in and get her title shot. She's beaten the who's who in this division. Unfortunately, I just don't see her winning. If I can see her going the distance and holding on her own, but I just see Valentina just picking her apart. And like Cage said, pretty much just those volume of strikes and being really heavy and just edging out the decision. I just see her getting those 10-9 rounds fairly kind of easy. And Grasso is going to really have to pick up the pace versus SHEVCHENKO with those striking. And yeah, I just don't see it. I'd see SHEVCHENKO by decision.
Yeah, I don't see anywhere Grasso is even remotely competitive to SHEVCHENKO, unfortunately. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it just is what I see. SHEVCHENKO's footwork, her angles, her ability to throw in, throw out, get out, take you down if she wants to. I think this is just going to be a lamb to the slaughter, and I get SHEVCHENKO at TKO in round 3. For some reason, I see the same body shots that were set up on the Jessica IKO finishing the fight. I don't know why. I just see body shots. I see a lot of even in the clinch, like even if Grasso's like, oh, dirty boxer, that's my background, you're gonna think not gonna work out to her favor at all. So I'm going SHEVCHENKO TKO round 3 and still.
If you watch the fight Grasso had with Macy Barber, she was strong in the first round and a half because she got in the pocket, but when Macy Barber made it more of a distance game, she struggled with that, and Barber started to get going. And even though it was too late for Barber, she looked very effective when she made it a distance game, and that's what you're going to see from SHEVCHENKO.
Yeah, and SHEVCHENKO is a better version of all the women in that division times 2.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever you've seen a fighter lose as, SHEVCHENKO could do that tactic so much better. Cool. And now we are on to the main event of the night, the return of the convict one, John Jones versus the Frenchman, CIRYL GANE. John Jones finally makes it up to heavyweight. It's been rumored, it's been teased, it's been talked about, and now it's finally happened. And we found out about it by a stadium in France posting the posters on the side of the building before the press announced it, which is a great way to tell Ngannou that he's no longer with the company. Let's talk about how this fight's going to go down. All 5 for the vacant heavyweight. Alex, who you got?
So this was interesting. Obviously, John Jones makes his return. It's a tricky one because you really look back, John Jones' last fights. They're wins, but they didn't really look impressive. We've slowly kind of seen Jones showing some weaknesses in some of the fights. The fights with Santos, the fights with Reyes, those were very, very close fights. And now making the jump to heavyweight. It's one of those things, obviously been training a lot with Henry Cejudo, moving his camp there. I think he's going back and forth with splitting with that and Greg Jackson, which is interesting. Don't get me wrong, Cejudo has really good coach, really good camp there. I think Patricia Pitbull trains there. A lot of guys train there. Figueroa did his camp there, so it's a good camp. I don't know. I've seen clips of it. It changed up the game, and it did not look good. I think they changed up a lot. His stand-up did not look fluid, did not look loose. It looked very stiff. But that's just from one clip. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. When you change camps, you change gyms. Usually it doesn't really go well. I just think Gane's just much bigger. He's a bigger dude. Much stronger than Jones. It's a really good stand-up. I think this is way more dangerous fighting Gane than Nagano for sure. I think Gane's a way more dangerous opponent than Nagano. And it's just, I think Gane is going to win. I think Gane will beat Jones. And I think he's going to TKO late in the round. I think it's going to be a third round TKO. I think Gane finishes him.
Gone TKO 5th round. Cool. Cage, who you got in this heavyweight fight? Third. My bad.
Okay. We got comments. I want to mention some of the comments. You got Ivan Dan is the true Tapology champion, not Alex. We got Kofi Wheatston. We live, baby. Thanks for tuning in. We got Ivan again. The director is man of the hour, every hour, the true legend of Tapology Championship. We got Viva Mexico MX Grasso. If Grasso wins, you got Moreno, Rodriguez, and Grasso, Mexico MX taking over. So we got those comments right there. Wanted to bring those up. But you got this matchup. We got John Jones' first fight in 4 years since moving up to heavyweight. I think this kind of works out better. Usually you get the move up or down, and they do it too early. They move divisions, and then they fight within 3 months. You got to condition your body to the weight class to be able to fight there. And he's at 3 years. So I don't think the weight gain will have that big of an effect since he's trained so much within the weight gain. So I think he'll be fine for that. I think the big difference here will be how he fights against a guy that's bigger than him, because he's usually the taller guy with the bigger reach, and he usually weighs more, and he's not going to have that weight gain. He'll have the reach, but not the gain. And you might not see the distance game. You got the distance game, which will actually favor Gane here because he has the kickboxing background. He throws a lot of volume with his legs and the jab that he throws. He knows how to move in and out. He literally moves as a middleweight at the heavyweight division. He's very quick. So I think that's where he has the advantage there. But John Jones, even though he's been out for 4 years, there's a big weakness with Gane, and that's his get-ups and takedown defense. Yeah. He showcased that against a guy like Francis Ngannou. If you look at all the opponents that he's fought, none of them have a grappling background. They're all strikers. And Jones has that wrestling background. He's very good in the clinch. He throws the knees and elbows in the clinch. He'll stand up there and throw that the standing elbow at his opponents, and they're very strong. And I feel like if he gets in the clinch early and often, that's going to be big against a guy like Gane. And if you can take him down, that's even bigger because he couldn't get up when Ngannou took him down. And I think that's a big flaw. So even though I want to pick Gane, I'm going to pick John Jones by decision because I feel like that big weakness is just too big to overlook. And even though he's been out for 4 years, he's still the same guy that he is. And he's still training. He brought Cejudo in. I don't think he loses anything because we've seen a guy like GSP. He's come back after 5 years, and he looks stronger than he did before. I know it's a different weight class, a different fighter. But as long as you train and then you don't start training, you don't lose what you had. It's just that you don't have that experience from the past couple of years. And I think he's going to look fine. He might look sluggish, but I feel like he'll be able to grapple his way to victory.
Alex, you're next. Right? No, Richard is. Sorry, your names aren't up.
No worries. Good point by
too.
Alex
Nice.
IQ. a lot of factors playing this fight. Like everyone has mentioned, John Jones in return with 3 years. I like some things that a lot of people in the media is speculating. I don't know if you guys noticed, Chael Sonnen said this guy, Jones isn't in fight mode, he's in recovery mode. There's a lot of people are thinking maybe he's coming in this fight injured. I hope not. And, there's an excuse afterwards if he does lose. I'm kind of having shades of little of like Cain Velasquez versus Ngannou. He had that injury midway fight and then he got knocked out, or it was kind of a freak way of ending that fight. I hope that doesn't happen. Like IQ said, they brought in Cejudo, so I'm sure the game plan is to grapple. Like that's a smart move. I mean, let's be real. Gane pretty much got wrestled by Ngannou, and Ngannou is not really a wrestler by any means. A wrestler. He just is pretty much two strikers, and who has a little bit better of a double leg and will edge it. And being top heavy got him the win, and Gane couldn't do anything in that 5th round to get up to save his life pretty much, and that edged out that fight to get the W. With Jones is just a pure wrestler. I mean, he could do it all. He's a true mixed martial artist. He has great hands, but then again, Gane has those heavy hands. Gane is a legit heavyweight. He's been doing that since kickboxing his whole career. That power is so different from light heavyweight to heavyweight. And we're going to see if Johns could get, see how tough his chin is taking those punches. But like IQ says, Jones, just the better grappler, and that'd be a smart move coming in tight with the clinch, mixing up, doing that dirty boxing style. Maybe a couple eye pokes here and there, and we'll get him the win. So I'm going to say, shoot, that's a tough one. I'm going to go John Jones by decision.
Cool.
Before Chris goes, we got Clark Street. What's up, fellas? Put the ones up. We got Ivan says Gane will win, and then I feel Gane is more hungry than Jones, seeing his motivation status. Gane has an opportunity.
Some good points there. My points are going to be that John Jones is a heavyweight. He walks around at 230, so now he's just retaining the weight and not cutting the weight. So he's going to be fighting at what he generally always fights at without having to go through the rigors of cutting the weight, plus a little bit more mass. I hope he's in recovery mode. You don't want to be sparring and putting yourself through injury-prone drills and reasons to get hit a week into the fight. The last week of the fight, you're just getting your body in tune and getting it prepared and not getting it stressed out and damaged. So I'm glad that he's in the pool, not in the gym throwing head kicks or getting taken down. That being said, yeah, Ngannou out-wrestled Gane. That's fucking wild to think that Jones won't do the same plus more. Gane is a kickboxer who's pretty decent at some MMA. Jones is a guy who's been doing MMA longer than I think Gane's even been kickboxing. So I don't see a reason Jones can't take this late into the fight. If it's not a decision, it could easily be a sub in the 4th. And I'm going to go very similar to the way he beat Vitor by some kind of joint manipulation in the late and 4th round.
I think one thing I see in this fight that you wouldn't expect is the front kick of John Jones. He likes to use that a lot in a lot of his fights to create distance, his opponent, and then kind of close in on them in the clinch. And then usually that's something Gane would use. He likes to attack the side of the body and then the calf kick. But it's just that reach that is, even at heavyweight, he has an advantage on everybody. But I think Pavlovich, I think he's the only guy that has like a similar reach. And then he has power. But Gane doesn't have too much power. He likes to hit you with like 60% of what his throws are. And that's how he keeps the cardio the way that it is, where he doesn't tire out because he doesn't throw full force at you. And if he can stay a distance away, that's his way of winning. But I just don't see how he can not allow John Jones to get in the clinch.
John Jones, still, no matter what weight division, John Jones will still have the longest reach in the UFC. So that is a factor.
Yeah, it's just that clinch game is what scares me, because John Jones can get in the clinch and just start throwing those knees at him. And unless he can overpower him and turn it around on John Jones, it's going to be hard for Gane to beat him when he's not able to throw from a distance.
But I think if he's closer to Gane, it's an advantage for Gane, because as much as close he is, Gane's going to, as much as it is, I think Gane's more stronger than him. I think he has, if Gane can land a punch on Jones, I think he could put him out. I just think Jones' game plan should be trying to stay away and not be so close. and just
I
break
like,
them apart with kicks, body kicks, move around, get them tired.
Yeah, but there's weapons Jones throws that he's created that Gane's never seen in the cage too. So especially in that close range, the spinning elbows,
No boot kick.
He does the uppercut elbow, the knees that he finished like Shogun with. Mike Lopez, Jones in 2. I like that a lot. So you're not going to
like
Gane wins. It'll be an upset to me for sure. Absolutely. For sure.
I feel like Jones in the clinch, he's going to throw those elbows, and I have to see how Gane does on those elbows, because those elbows that Jones throws are lethal. He will damage somebody with those, whereas Gane,
he'll throw an elbow and change the level immediately and take it down. Wow.
And then he attacks the leg where he stomps on it constantly. Whereas I do know that Gane has fought 5-round fights in the last 4 or 5 fights, but when he gets in the clinch, he's more about just pushing up and then trying to push off and then start throwing again. Whereas Jones, he's okay fighting a scrum within that clinch. So that's why I'm leaning towards him.
But then again, I mean, look at the past fights. He got punched a lot against Reyes and Santos, and this is not them. This is Gane, who is bigger and just scarier. So I just think he can't afford to do that with Gane. That's why it scares me. I think he's gonna have to really keep distance with Gane, because if the more closer he is with him, Gane will have an advantage over him. He will land that shot. I don't think Gane's just gonna sit there and just take those elbows.
No, but Gane takes a lot of leg kicks. If you saw the Volkov fight, he took 65 leg kicks to the calf, and that's only because Volkov wasn't able to throw anything else. I think Jones can do that and then mix a little bit extra in. So you're going to see a lot of – I could see 40, 50 leg kicks just from Jones in the fight.
Cool. So there you guys have it. Those are our predictions for UFC 285. Top to bottom, definitely worth paying for. Premium live event pay-per-view. Not even the big card of the summer. We got Jones coming back with 2 titles on the card. I can't wait to see what they have. I mean, coming for the, what is it? Fight Fest or whatever they call it, Summer Fight Fest, Fight Week,
International Fight Week.
Yeah, that. So if this is coming in the spring or early
international, rain.
I can't wait to see what they have booked for the summer. This is definitely starting off the year with a bang.
And then a couple weeks, and then a couple weeks we got UFC London, which I think is Usman and Edwards 3, and then a couple weeks after that. And then a couple weeks after that is Adesanya and the rematch.
Pereira
2, yeah.
The never-ending saga of Easy getting KO'd, which I'm totally a fan of. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys watching. Check the comment section for where to subscribe to us. Championship on the line, Cage IQ, Circle of Debate. We will see you guys next week with the recap. Have a good night, everyone.
Yep.
The Bloodline Entertainment Network. Find all your sports and wrestling entertainment needs in one place as we form a new network that features several different podcasts, watch-alongs, sports and entertainment shows, and much more. The Bloodline Entertainment Network debuts March 5th.